Now let's talk about the cool down that's expected for the Great Lakes. We're looking at Milwaukee. They're going to be in on the temperature dips, and while those temperatures today were mild, tomorrow the Brew City will see much warmer temperatures.
Yeah, but a cold front, as we just talked about, it's forming off Milwaukee's northeast. It will cause those temperatures to plummet later in the day on Tuesday, as we just showed you. And it's all setting the stage for what's dubbed as the Pneumonia Front. So for more on this, we do want to bring in Tom Wachs, Fox 6 Milwaukee meteorologist, excuse me. So Tom, as I recall in my research, because I grew up in the Great Lakes, I just never heard anybody refer to it as this. But this is a term that was dubbed out of Milwaukee, right?
That's right. Hey, Marissa and Steve, great to be with you here tonight. So this is so interesting. It's called a pneumonia front. No, it has nothing to do with pneumonia, but it's more of a term to describe a sharp temperature drop in a short amount of time. And Marissa, as you mentioned, it was coined by the National Weather Service actually here in Milwaukee back in the 1960s. So it's somewhat of a local phenomenon, and so interesting because this is a front that is coming in from the northeast. Now, most cold fronts move from the northwest to the southeast. This one, however, is moving from the northeast to the southwest, so kind of an odd direction, and we call it a backdoor cold front, or in this case, a pneumonia front. And in order to qualify as an official pneumonia front here in southeastern Wisconsin, you have to drop 16 degrees or more in 1 hour or less. So it's a sharp temperature drop, and we're expecting temperatures to go from the 80s here in Milwaukee early tomorrow afternoon to the 50s in a very short amount of time, in less than an hour. And I'm telling you guys, it is wild when that happens around here because of that cool lake air. The wind changes to the northeast behind the front, and we go dropping very quickly in the temperature department, again, in that very short time span.
And Tom, so forget the 16-degree drop. You guys are looking at a 30-degree drop tomorrow along Lake Michigan. How common are these pneumonia fronts? You had talked about the direction change, but when's the last time that you were talking about a pneumonia front there in Milwaukee?
Sure. So we typically see these a couple of times a season. Now, they usually happen this time of year in the springtime, and here's why. The lake water temperatures are about 45 to 50 degrees right now, and that's going to cool the air just above it. And as we know, cold air is heavier or denser than warm air, right? You know that when you open your freezer door, the cold air comes down to your feet. So when we get that northeasterly wind coming off of the lake, especially a large chunk of the lake, that's when we see that cold air just pouring in. So you get the warm spring day and then that cold lake air as that cold front comes through. But Steve, it's, I wouldn't say overly common, but several times in a springtime is usually pretty common here in the Milwaukee area.
I mean, I've definitely felt something similar here in New York City, where you leave in the morning with a T-shirt, and by the time you get out of work, especially for our odd hours where we're done late at night, you need a coat. I mean, that's what folks have headed their way. It's a taste of two seasons pretty much, Tom, in the span of one day.
It is. And what's so interesting is we try to warn everybody, right? Like, hey, it's coming tomorrow, get ready. But we always hear from people that go, I had no idea it was going to get so cold. And literally it is. Marissa, like you said, a change of seasons going from summer to that chilly fall-like air, literally in a matter of minutes.
So be prepared for everything that's going to be happening tomorrow. Woo, talk about a weather whiplash. Tom Wachs, Fox 6 Milwaukee meteorologist. Thank you for joining us on here tonight.